everybody. Welcome back. We're going to talk today about probably one of the most useful lessons this unit. We've talked about slope and y-intercept and graphing, but now we're going to talk about what happens when our equation doesn't look like this. So today we're going to focus on solving to get y by itself before we can find these things. Okay, so just a reminder, this is slope-intercept form because the m is your slope, the b is your y-intercept, and remember, the y-intercept is going to be our starting point when we go to graph. But again, y has to be alone. So the very first thing that we need to do, if it doesn't say y equals, or equals y, because y can be on the right, we need to solve for y or get y alone before we find the slope and y-intercept. So I can't just look at this and say, oh, my slope's -3. It's not in the right form. So today we're going to talk about that. It's just like solving a regular equation. All right. We're just rearranging the equation. So if you want, you can draw the line down underneath the equal sign. And our goal is to get the y by itself. So it actually does help if you circle that term wherever the y might be. All right, sometimes it's the first term, sometimes it's the second, but we'll do a lot of practice with this because this is something that will be useful not just this year, but in the coming years as well. All right, so if I saw a -30, to get rid of it, I'd add 30. Well, if I see a -3x, I want it on the other side, I'm going to add 3x because a -3x plus 3x cancels. So you're left with 3y equals 15 and +3x. That's not 18x. Remember, one is your slope, one's your y-intercept. We want to put it into slope-intercept form. So we're going to make it look like this. All right, so we'll put the whatever's with x first and then the number by itself. So we have basically a +3x, and 15's positive, so we'll put a +15. Yes, you could write 15 plus 3x, but then I'd, be worried that you'd mix up which one is the slope and y-intercept. All right, so next it doesn't say y equals yet. We have to get rid of this multiplying by 3. So we're going to divide everything by 3. Everything gets divided. So y equals 3x divided by 3 is just x, or 1x, plus 15 divided by 3 is 5. So now your slope would be 1, your y-intercept would be 5. In terms of graphing, we'd start at 5 and go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And I'm using the m and b because remember, m is your slope, b is your y-intercept. Okay, let's do the next one. Again, you want to get y by itself, so I'm going to circle this 2y. I see this plus 5x, so I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. I'm left with 2y equals, and again, you want to put the x term next. So I'm going to put the -5x, and then 8's negative as well. So on this one, if there's no sign in front of it, it's positive, so you just put a plus. All right, now we're going to divide everything by 2. So I'm left with y equals -5 divided by 2. I can't divide that, so I'm just going to leave it as -5 over 2. And that'll be your slope. That means we'd be going down 5 over 2, down 5 over 2. And then -8 divided by 2 is -4. There's your y-intercept. So our slope, m, is -5/2, and our b, our y-intercept, is -4. All right, next one's a little tricky. I need to get y by itself, so I'm going to circle this -3y. That's going last. So I need to get that x out of there. It's positive, so I'm going to subtract it. I know it seems silly to keep circling, but honestly, I find it really is helpful. All right, so we're left with -3y. We need to be careful. I'm going to put a star by this one because it's tricky. I have my -x and a +6. Now I have to divide everything by -3. Watch your signs here. Now be careful. There's no number with x, so don't just think, oh, it must be 3x. No, there's nothing there. It's a 1. -1 divided by -3 actually becomes positive. So use your calculator negative 1 divided by negative 3, enter. We want it as a fraction, math, enter, enter, positive 1/3 x. So there's your slope. And then 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. So watch those signs. So our slope is positive 1/3, and our y-intercept, our b, is negative 2. All right, next one, similar. Again, I'm going to circle this negative 4y. I need to get that 6x out of there, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. The reason I'm drawing the line is to remind myself whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So I'm left with negative 4y equals, we've got these two terms here. I'm going to put the 6 first because it has the x, so negative 6x and negative 20. All right, now everything gets divided by negative 4. So I'm left with y equals negative 6 divided by negative 4. You don't want to leave two negatives. Negative 6 divided by negative 4. Enter. Nope. Math. Enter, enter. Leave it as a fraction. So 3/2, positive. So that means we'll be going up and over. Negative 20 divided by negative 4 becomes positive 5. So after all that, your slope is up 3/2, and your y-intercept is positive 5. And we'll get into graphing those next lesson. All right, 2 to go. So again, we want to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract the 2x out of there. Positive 5y, I can drop that plus sign. And then we have a negative 2x and a positive 25. Divide everything by 5. So y equals negative 2/5. And again, you could put it in your calculator, you'd get the same thing. X, and then 25 divided by 5 is just 5. So your slope is negative 2/5, and your y-intercept is positive 5. All right, last thing, we got a 0. That's okay. Again, I want to get y by itself, so the only thing I have to do is add 7x. So I'm left with y equals 7x goes first, and then you can put the plus 0 if you want, but you don't have to. I would just leave it as y equals 7x. So your slope is 7, your y-intercept is 0. So we'd start at the origin. All right, so the next page, 17, is going to be practice with this. So you're going to do the same thing, write each of the following slope-intercept forms. So solve for y, make it so it says y equals, and then state the slope and the y-intercept, just like I did here. All right, but I have it written out for you. All right, so again, this is your M and B, just like from the notes. Some of them have just a couple little steps. Some might have a couple more. So take your time and let me know if you have questions. Have a great day.